Yay, we're live. Hello, everyone. It is spring break here in East Tennessee,
Yeah,
east
so
side of the state.
you see my daughter pop in. That's why she's here. She doesn't work here. Not
Yeah,
yet.
she's super cute, super cute. So yeah, I hope she does pop in. That would be fun. So today we're talking about fostering a culture of innovation in the workplace. I thought that it would be interesting to chat with AV about this topic because I feel like he does foster that here, especially for me in my role, which is one of the reasons I came over to this space. But I also think it's very important to talk about it from a local government perspective. As it relates to employees and as it relates to citizens, I think innovation should be encouraged in every aspect of work. So, with that being said, AV, I'm just going to start out with a very simple question. How can we, as individuals, foster an environment of innovation within our workspace?
So I think the first thing to do here is to not think of innovation as only technology,
Hmm.
because innovation can happen at any level through any tool set or not.
Yeah.
I mean, think about all the work we do with process redesign and just helping our clients strategize about better ways to do things. Very
Hmm.
little of that work involves any kind of technology. So the
Right.
fallacy is that innovation typically only means that you use chat gpt and you use the latest and greatest ai tools. That's not true necessarily. It's, can you do can you get better results with the same inputs, and with the same tool sets and the same variables available to you, and how can you become innovative in your thinking and management, and get more profitable, become more effective, earn more business, become more, satisfy your customers some more. So innovation isn't necessarily just technology. I think that's the first thing to realize here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, from a local government perspective, if you were a city manager, a mayor, a CIO, how would that mindset change at all?
I don't think so. I think a lot of our clients and prospects, especially in the city manager pool, they're extremely innovative, because
Hmm.
that's one job. Like, if I were to change careers, I would love, I think, to be a city manager. I don't know how realistic that is, but that's a cool job, right? You're responsible for everything:
Right,
education, public safety, sanitation, utilities, general government, dealing with the legislature, dealing with the state and lobbyists and stuff. So very cool job that you can't do if you're not innovative, if you're not a forward thinker, um, if you're not a good manager. You can't have that job, obviously.
right,
But also, you have to be innovative, because you're dealing with economic booms and busts and budget cycles and elections, and that's one job where you don't have an influence on any of these external factors, including who gets
right.
elected and becomes your boss in the council, and the council has authority to get rid of you, fire you as a city manager. So
Yeah,
you have to be on your toes and innovative at all times. And again, some of that might involve better technology, but most of it doesn't. It really is people and general management practices that you need to always be thinking out of the box. And
right.
sometimes you have to think traditionally, but that
Yeah.
means you have to follow through on your traditional line of thinking. Anyway.
Yep, absolutely. Also, I forgot to say, if you guys are joining us today, leave us a comment in the chat. Tell us what you're doing, what's going on in your world. Is it spring break there, where you're joining from? So, from an employee standpoint, are there any best practices that we can implement to foster innovation or that innovative thinking, if you will? I think it takes a lot of communication and a lot of encouragement, a lot of accountability. But how do you do that in your place of work?
So in our place of work, Megan,
Hmm.
we
Yes, our place of work. Sorry, I do still work here. Yes.
yes, you're not a full-time radio host yet.
I'm not. I'm not. Believe
Um,
it or not.
I think questioning status quo is sort of a core value here. Of
Hmm.
course, within what you're trying to accomplish with your clients. questioning status quo, because that tends to be a lot of what we do, right? We go into clients that haven't changed anything for 30 years, and now they want to be modern and they want to, have the right tool sets to do their jobs better. But internally too, we have that culture, and we encourage that. Question me if something doesn't work. If something doesn't work right, if you think there's better ways of doing this, let's do it. Let's discuss. Let's find the right tools, and let's find the right processes to make our lives better, and therefore our
Mhm.
clients' lives better. So questioning status quo is number one. If you want to use different tool sets, I mean, think through it. Do we have something that we already use that we are not using to the full potential? And this is what we say to our clients. And in the past, we've fallen in this trap of saying we're consultants for our clients, not for ourselves. And
Mhm.
and recently, we've taken a good hard look at that and said that's not okay, because we need to be, as we grow, we're facing daily challenges on things that worked last year don't work today, because simply because we have many layers, we have more levels to our management, we have more clients, so we have to stay on top of things ourselves, and be innovative in how we deliver services.
Yes, and for those employees out there that are afraid to question the status quo, there's a way to go about it, to ask, like, why do we do it this way? Right? Why is it? Is it because we've done it that way the past 25 years? And we talk about this a lot, right? Implementing change. Don't be scared to raise your hand and say, hey, maybe we could do it this way a little bit
Mhm.
better. What
And
about roadblocks?
that's
Oh,
who
go
we
ahead.
sorry, that's who we want as
Yes.
future employees, right? People that question status quo, not
Hmm.
necessarily rebels or
Right.
revolutionaries, but people that want to better the world, in a small way. We have our newest employee has a background in sociology, I think,
Uh,
and I was asking her why she wanted to come work for us, and her answer was pretty brilliant. It was short, but she said, she likes making change. Her college coursework has been around how do you change things in society, and she
yeah.
saw us as doing small things incrementally to uh, you know satisfy a larger need in the world, to make change in a positive way. So again, that's it. What do you do incrementally within your own life and your workplace that can have incremental impact downstream, maybe not today, but 2 years from now.
Yeah, because everyone has their own experiences, like in life and in
Yeah.
their, professional background. So the way you do it could be a better process for your
Yeah.
organization. So it's so helpful to share those ideas and those
Hmm.
experiences. So Kyler says soon, though. I think she's referring to me being a radio host. Hey, Kyler. Hey, April. Thank you guys for joining us. But she does have a question. Kyler does, sorry, in the chat. So she says typically government organizations can be heavy on legacy processes and hard to change. How can you influence a digital and innovative mindset in this type of hyper structured environment? That's a great question.
Yeah, it's
Great
so
question.
long. I'm gonna have to
It
read.
is. It
Yeah.
is. He's thinking right now.
Yeah.
Can you say the question again?
Now, how can you influence a innovative mindset in this type of hyper-structured environment?
Right.
It's not necessarily hyper-structured. It's hyper stuck in their ways. So there are certain things that are structured, like you have to do your finances a certain way, um, and you have to report on your financials and your legislative processes a certain way. But
Hmm.
within those boundaries, I mean, public companies have to do that too. So government isn't this alien creature. They're very similar in many ways to the private sector. They just are, in my experience, most of them are stuck in their ways, because you have older tool sets, you have changing management pretty frequently, so it's hard to stay on top of changes. um, but influencing digital mindset, I think we did a video about that last week. It
Hmm.
really takes, uh, again, a business process mindset. How do we change things? And maybe 90% of the time it won't take a piece of technology to make change, but having a digital mindset first is looking outside the window and seeing what your customer, your citizen expects from you today, right? They don't
Hmm.
want to go into the office, to your city hall or courthouse to stand in line for to pick up a form to go back home and bring 3 copies. Believe it or not, we have customers and non-customers that are doing that today. And get this, I just recently went to my hometown, Goa, India, and they are far ahead of us in terms of digital services to their citizens. Everything's on apps, on their websites. You apply for things, land records, your school certificates, university degrees, your social security cards, licenses. There's not one thing that they're not doing. Of course, they've had the advantage of having leapfrogged certain technologies that we haven't yet. But
Hmm.
I think us in the U.S. need to get a move on, especially on customer-centric government services and mobility enhanced services. That again, I don't want to go into City Hall for anything if I can help it, other than to go see our clients. But uh, to start my utilities, to go get a driver's license, or to get a copy of blah blah blah. So back to Kyler's question, how do you foster this digital mindset with our client base? Is really looking out for your customers, for their customers, and what people are expecting today. It's 2023.
Hmm.
Most of our lives are run on cell phones, and here we are seeking government services on pen and paper.
Right, right. So to add on to that question, I'm going to ask you to put your city manager hat back on, mayor hat back on. How would you go about engaging with your citizens to know what change they're wanting, or maybe how they're thinking innovatively for their hometown or
So
community?
yeah, so a good example is a client up in upstate New York. That mayor is very um, determined that that's what he needs to offer to their citizens. It's an election year, and how do you show accomplishments, right? We've done
Hmm.
maybe a year's worth of work with them, and it's all been on like internal processes and technological advances and new networks and things like that. And the mayor's question to me was, what do I have to show the public? Right? We've done
Yeah.
all of these great things internally. We've spent almost $1 million on these things. What do I show my citizens that are going to vote for me? And now we're in that phase where we're going to set up a new website. We're going to have kiosks in their office building. We have maybe an app that they can do business from. Um, so the mayor has a pulse on what the citizens want. And
Hmm.
again, what they want is transparency and ease of doing business with the government. Once again, ask anyone who really likes to line up and go get a form and then get 3 copies and fax it somewhere. Uh,
I don't,
I
not
don't
me.
either. So I think that's the key. If I was a city manager, that's what I would be doing.
Right,
What can
right.
I do to make the lives of citizens better, either through the use of technology or not? And we have very progressive cities around that do that, right? You don't
Hmm.
Everything is online, and you can pay your bills, you can apply for services, you can find out the status of your permit applications, when your trash is going to be picked up, and you can send pictures of potholes and dead animals to um, animal control. So I'm not saying all of the government sector is behind, but there's significant work to be done.
Right, right. And if you are behind and need help and want to reach out to us, just a slight commercial, real quick. We're always open for questions to help you get started. So let's talk about. I still want you to keep your city manager hat on for right now. A lot of times when we're talking about local government, the departments are very siloed. So how would one, make sure that every department's innovative ideas are heard, right? Or that they're thinking innovatively and they're raising their hand. How do you do that across departments?
Yeah, the good thing is it's becoming a lot more streamlined, a lot more mainstream now to talk about joint services and reducing
Mhm.
redundancy. Uh, But in general, yes, they are siloed, and we've been in situations where we were brought in by the mayor's office to do a, let's say, an IT strategic plan, and
Mhm.
a month into the project, you find out that Public Works has been doing their own IT strategic plan in parallel, and no one bothered to tell us. So, um, but there's good stories and good reasons for why that is. Mistrust, non-communication, just not talking to each other as an organization. It really takes a strong leader, be it a city manager or a mayor or an executive director, to really uh, communicate to his or her direct uh, supervisors and direct reports that here's the plan, here's what we're doing, here's the outcomes, here's what we expect. And like we do in our internal meetings, if you have anything to say, better say it now before we go down this path. So when we go in to do an IT strategic plan, I think we follow our own practice, which is making sure that we are giving every department the ability to raise their hands and say, here's what we need, here's where we are falling short. We don't see a path forward. IT doesn't want to help us. Um, and more often than not, it's not that IT doesn't want to help them. IT doesn't know how to help them,
Right.
or they don't. They're very much in this. What kind of tools do I need to provide this agency or department that's going to make their lives better? They're not thinking of it from a business outcome standpoint. So again, that's
Mhm.
that's why we are in business, because we can translate all of that and bring it forward to whoever it is, the city manager or mayor that wants to hear about what does my organization look like and what do my department heads really think about uh, what they need.
Right. What roadblocks? I was going to ask this earlier. Are there any roadblocks when we're talking about implementing change, um, or creative thinking,
Yeah,
innovation,
it's
new
it's
things?
it's people. I mean, it's
Yeah.
resistance to change. Change management is like a huge part of our practice, and it's critical when we go into IT modernization or ERP modernization projects. It's one of the things you've heard me say is this isn't an IT project.
Right.
This is a people. This is a functional project. This is an outcomes based project, and IT has a small role to play in it. Just because it's software doesn't mean it's IT is running it. So back to your question on how do you uh, counter resistance to change, and
Hmm.
it really is showing people that two things. One, this is your legacy. If you've been with the organization for a while, if you're about to retire, what a great way to leave this place in a better place than you found it. And then the second thing is, if you're new to the organization, is what a great way to set this up the way you want it, and that's your legacy. So that's one way of dealing with it. Of course, there's other theoretical models like ProSci, um, lots of change management models out there that are also used in conjunction with just dealing with people. That's something that we're really good at, is making sure that people are not afraid of new things or change, or we're good at also hitting the hard questions up front. What's in it for me, or what's going to happen to me uh, if this project goes right? Again, like the Bobs in Office Space. When we show up, that's what people look at us. They're like, "Hey, who are you?" And uh, am I going to lose my job? So our job is to constantly, from the time that we show up to the time that we deliver the project, make sure that the people are taken care of, like their
Right.
hearts are taken care of, right?
Yeah.
Um, that's the best way to deal with change, my
Yes.
experience.
Absolutely. And I would say 95% of the time when we go in and complete a project, the employee, whoever it may be, may say, this has freed up a lot of time for me to now be innovative, right? To now make some changes in my
Right.
community, in my department, for myself.
Right.
So it's very warming the work that we do.
No,
Um,
it's also think time, right? I talk
yeah.
about think time a lot too.
Hmm.
That innovative thinking and innovative tools and processes allow you as a manager to have some think time. When you're
Right.
letting automation do the work for you, you can sit back and say, I have nothing to do for the next 3 hours, but I can
Yeah.
think about how I can make lives better or my job better, or go collaborate with someone else. It's pretty powerful, and we've seen that. We've seen that a
Yes.
lot when we had a client that was going through an ERP process, and this person, a very, very sharp individual in accounting, all she did all week was copy and paste spreadsheets. And you could see like her soul dying every day because she wasn't using this very powerful brain that she had. So when
Hmm.
they went to a new ERP system, her job then became, she got promoted immediately
Hmm.
because she was stuck in that role because no one else could do it quicker than her. I don't know. But quickly she became like assistant manager of the accounting department, and is doing great now because she likes coming into work and doing not just innovative but strategic things for the organization, and she can feel herself being fulfilled as a professional.
Yes, absolutely. I would say about a year ago, that's one of the things you taught me to do, what was to spend some time thinking, right? And when
Mhm.
you first told me that, I was like, what is he talking about? Like, I don't have time to think. I have all these people I need to call. I have lives to do. I've got to get on the radio broadcast. I, and so I would say for me, it has empowered me as an employee to take some time and think about what are what are some ideas we can implement to gain more business or to reach more people. I think our business is more about reaching the right people and knowing when to come in, right?
Yeah.
So that's been completely life changing for me. Think time, think
Take
time,
time.
so important. Think time. What are we aiming for, result wise? Like, what results are we looking for when we're fostering this sort of innovative thinking? Um, I guess from an organizational standpoint.
I think incremental change is the
Mhm.
most important. I mean,
Yeah.
you if you go for metrics, and we have disagreements about this with people on our own management team, right? What
Yes.
metrics do you use? Did you get better today than you were yesterday at a
Hmm.
thing? And results will come. I am a firm believer, if you take action and do better than you did yesterday, you'll have results. If you go at it from expecting like an X percentage of growth, or um, you may not get there. And even if you do,
Hmm.
how do you know that what you did was what got you that result? So the only way to sustain improvement, and again, it applies to innovative thinking too. What can you do better today? What's wrong today? Constantly. This is why think time is important. You can sit back and say, how can I tweak this to be better? What's not working today that we need to focus on?
That self reflection is so important. Um, I think that's a good one to end on, unless you have anything else. Maybe one more, personally. Are there any things that you would tell our viewers and listeners to go out and read, or anything to watch to maybe channel their inner creativity, just from a personal standpoint?
Look, I struggle with creativity. I'm not, my
Innovate.
wife, I know my wife is the artist, professional artist.
Shout out to Susan.
Yes. Um, but I read a lot. I'm in constant motion as far as getting better
Hmm.
as an individual, as a professional, as a business person. So what I'm reading right now, I think I just finished reading the Everyday Hero Manual, something like that. It's a
Hmm.
Robin Sharma book, and then I started reading a book on uh, China. So two very different things.
Nice. Yeah, complete opposites. But
Yes.
that's, I mean, exposing yourself to different things. I think for me, I'm a people person. I think I'm the only people person in our organization. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
there's more.
Okay. I'm way more than anybody else. That's why I'm in the job that I do. But with that being said, I like to meet new people, different types of people, hear their stories, hear where they've been, where they're going. There's always something to learn from someone else. So if I could wrap this up with a bow, that's what I would say. Get to know people, learn where they're going, what they want to do, even within your organization and outside your organization. Share experiences with others. So,
Yeah, I think that's why we go to conferences and stuff, right? Innovative
yeah,
thinking doesn't. There are geniuses that can come up with ideas by themselves, right?
right.
I'm not one of them. I
Me
need the
either.
I need the inspiration and the community, and talking to people to see what's going on in the industry, what other people are doing, um, and then we try and do our best with what we have, right? But the
Yeah,
overarching theme for our organization is getting better every day, and that's what we try to foster with our clients too. Of course,
absolutely.
they have um, they have their own goals as far as projects go, but at the end of the day, that's our mantra.
Yes,
Tyler's,
absolutely.
yeah, extroverts.
Yes,
I don't know how
yes.
you guys do it.
Extroverts unite. That's right, Kyler, my girl. Thank you for joining us, Kyler, and thank you for asking that awesome question. Guys, if you guys have any questions or comments, or if you'd like to hear about a certain topic, please feel free to reach us. We're on every platform. We're easy to get a hold of. But thank you for joining us today, and you will catch us again next week. Thank you all.
Hey, there's a comment.
Hey,
William Kenny. Hi, William. Okay. War of Art.
War of Art by Steve Pressfield.
All right.
Nice.
Check it out.
Okay,
Thank
we
you, William.
will. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.